Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of WWX. That is Wrestling with Xotics. Think I Need to Feed You Water. That is
Franchise Jerry.
And we are here to discuss the WWE 2023 draft.
Yes, sir.
I believe you had some stuff you want to share with us, right?
Yep, I got the results for y'all right here. Starting off with round one, we got the number one overall draft pick, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, along with Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. And I thought it was funny that the Usos weren't drafted right away, bro, because I thought they was going to split them up. But as we find out on night two, the Usos get drafted to Smackdown. So I guess Roman pulled some strings for them last minute and actually decided that he do want them around. Because at first it was looking like he didn't want them around at all.
And I don't know what is to come of this. I can't wait to see the interaction between Roman and them because he's not even addressed them or dealt with them.
And I feel like if they got drafted to Raw, we probably wouldn't have got that. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And they're like, no, we need some finishing up on that. The Usos being on SmackDown with him, it makes sense, but I kind of wanted to see them break away because I feel like it'd be better for them now. They already did the longest championship reign. They're part of this dominant faction. Now just go back to being the Usos that we grew to love, like that we didn't need Roman. Like you guys were over and Roman wasn't over at one point. Genuinely. So it's just like it's crazy. That's why I love the WWE because you can see the growth and character development like it's a movie or a TV show.
And speaking about growth and character development, we got Raw's number 2 overall pick, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes hasn't been on Raw since his time with Randy Orton, correct?
Yeah, like officially stamped.
Right. I feel like this was a great pick for Raw. I feel like Cody Rhodes is going to be able to help them navigate throughout these storylines when it comes to that new World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes, because I feel like because of Cody's story, there's always consistent eyes on him to see where and what he's gonna do because how is he gonna finish it. So necessarily, I was gonna ask you, do you feel like this championship would be a bad run for him, or do you think he can still use this and say this is not enough for me? I still want to finish the story.
I'll answer that by saying this: I feel like Cody hasn't paid his dues yet in the WWE, which is kind of crazy because you think about the career that he's had in WWE before he left, but that's my point. He left. So now you have to come back and you have to prove to us why we should put you in that type of position. So I feel like that's why he's getting beat up by Brock Lesnar right now. And I also feel like that's why he will not be the first champion to hold that new world belt. I feel like that will go to Seth Rollins. And like I mentioned, Cody's going to be able to help navigate that story. And since him and Seth have already had beef, boom, that would be a great first story to have with that belt. I mean, Cody versus Seth Rollins, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't imagine.
The there already.
You know exactly. So I couldn't imagine a better story to tell first with that belt than that. So I like Cody being on Raw.
Yeah, because that is an easy way to get people behind the championship and caring about it. Because you don't want to have the first storyline something that's lackluster and you can't even like rationalize why they care about this belt. Because I was seeing Cody and Seth, you know, they eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling. That's why I feel like they were put in the programs that they were when Cody initially came back to WWE, because he needed someone who's just as passionate enough about wrestling that can show certain nuances, just as like even Seth coming dressed as his father. Cody needs to be in the ring with people who give a fuck about wrestling. Yeah, Roman gives a fuck about wrestling because of his family history, so that's why he's willing to build Cody up, do the way he did. He did a win in a fashion that people weren't hyped on, but at the same time, it still continues Cody's.
As far as Cody goes, that was a respectable loss because you could have lost straight up like Kevin Owens and all them other niggas did that got demolished. But instead, he needed someone to help him cheat to beat you. So therefore, like it's almost like respectable in a way. You know what I mean? So for the next pick of the night, SmackDown selects Bianca Belair, the Raw Women's Champion. Now this was a little bit confusing for me because I like Bianca on SmackDown, but she's obviously still got the Raw Women's Championship. And I know for a fact she's not dropping that belt to Io at WrestleMania Backlash. It's not going to happen. So I wonder how SmackDown and Raw are going to go about swapping those belts. And at the same time, I don't like how that's going to look in the record belts because Bianca Belair would have never lost the Raw Women's Championship, but in the record books, it's going to have to say like she swapped it out for the SmackDown, and now she's the SmackDown Women's Champion. It's just going to be weird. It didn't even sound right coming out of my mouth right now. That's how weird it is. But overall, I'm happy that she made her way back to SmackDown.
Overall, I feel as though Bianca and Rhea should not have switched brands. I was looking forward to see Rhea take on the SmackDown division, like the draft being worked around her necessarily, because I feel like that's the problem with this draft, low key. They didn't work around their champions. They're trying to have the champions work around the draft, and that doesn't make sense.
That's exactly what it is.
That's not stationary. So you're not showing me that these two champions are pillars that I need to be like, okay, the division's built around them. And you just threw everybody around now. It's be like, okay, let's see how they go with this and let's see with that. And that's never how you guys have had success with the draft, bro. Never. Like John Cena, like, for example, 2011, John Cena got drafted to SmackDown, and then at the end of the night, he got drafted to Raw. But you know what? He wasn't even a fucking champion. So that shows you how much of a pillar he was on Raw and how controversial it was. So they use it to stir up for the draft. But at the end of the day, you know John's not going to leave his brand. And I feel like they right now are not displaying enough brand supremacy in a sense, because I know it's Survivor Series.
It's because they mashed that shit up.
Yeah,
they mashed it up.
No, it shouldn't be like that.
I always hate when they combine it the belts.
Always, because I feel like they need to make a star be a star. Because okay, for example, Batista and John Cena, the why it worked out so well when they both got drafted to opposite brands is because from day one they were being groomed on as a mid-carder tag team level. They can win on their own. They can cheat. They can talk. They can do all the little stuff, but we're just not sure yet. So when they pulled the trigger on the niggas, they were ready. They were super ready for everything, bro. Like John Cena, he literally once he got called up and they were like, okay, you're gonna get the championship. It made sense because he was holding down the United States Championship. He held it like multiple times. He came back from a stabbing from Carlito's bodyguard and beat him up. Jesus, remember that? And he literally came back, and that's when he introduced the spinner. All right, you got personality. You've seen that you can come back from adversity. Boom, you're solidified on SmackDown. Okay, Batista's on Raw. He's a tag team wrestler because he hasn't won no major singles belt yet, but he's with Ric Flair. He's teaming up with the GOAT 16 times. I mean, he's gamed up. He knows a hell of shit. And he had the different build than Rick, so he's actually legible. Big Dave. All right, by the time they won the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania came across, then their draft happened. It just made sense because Batista already beat Triple H, and then John beat JBL, who was the SmackDown WWE champion for 10 months, bro. So that solidified him. He beat a guy that was holding the belt for 10 months, kind of like how we're saying Roman held it for too long. So whoever beats Roman it should be like how Grayson was on SmackDown, bro. They're supposed to be gaming him up, bro. It's supposed to be like mid card. He's winning, unstoppable. So it makes sense when he ascends. If he is the challenge Roman, legible star you built to run your SmackDown brand, not somebody. Oh, you randomly. Oh, we should all feel good or feel bad for him, and that's why he should be champion. You know, I feel like that's the main problem with this draft and WWE. With all that being said, Bianca Belair, I don't feel like she should have left Raw. She should have been a staple of Raw. She's the selling point, at least to look forward to watching her Raw. Yeah, I'm gonna watch her on SmackDown, but build that exclusivity. Like she's supposed to be. I felt like she was establishing. I'm synonymous with Raw because I was enjoying her Raw run better than the SmackDown one.
Oh yeah. So I mean, both were great, but it's just the Raw one kind of stood out more because she beat way bigger names with the Raw one.
That's what I'm saying. So
that's why I also don't want to just see her swap this title. Like if they have to swap these titles, bro, like that kind of just diminishes everything that they've gone through to get that title. I don't want to see that.
Definitely, bro.
With the next pick of the draft, Raw selects the man, Becky Lynch. And I thought this was good for Raw. Way to cover your ass because you just lost out on Bianca Belair. How did you allow that to happen? I have no idea. They did bounce back by drafting Rhea Ripley over there. But at the same time, it's all like you just said, Bianca was the staple of that company. It would have been better just to have Bianca there and have Rhea Ripley stay over there. I do want to say the one good thing that came out of that, though, is we're going to finally get to see Charlotte versus Bianca Belair.
Yeah, definitely. I can't agree with you more. That is the one good thing, but I'm also thinking of it too, how this could look for Rhea, because like we just said, Bianca just had this amazing, marvelous run, right, as Raw Women's Champion. It would have been easy for Rhea to carve her own path on SmackDown because this is her vibe.
Yeah.
But you know what Bianca was delivering every Monday. So it's like people gonna be comparing the runs. You know, social media, the internet wrestling community is gonna be like, Rhea, if it's not busting like if it's not busting like that, bro, it's gonna be problems. It's gonna be problems, especially she's gonna be dominant on Raw with the Judgment Day. She's gonna be all the time in front of the camera, and I feel like Bianca stood out too because she's by herself. So it's like she shows that she can carry the main spotlight. Because I feel like Rhea had a hard time. That's why I feel like she needed the Judgment Day. She had a hard time finding that real personality to working the microphone while backing it up in the ring. Because she always had the ring side, but she never had that personality. So this mommy gave her that personality. So now, okay, mommy, they don't really know what a mommy is. So I can do anything and I can really be myself. And she didn't have that before because they were like, Rhea was this gothic girl. And then she started teaming up with a superhero, and then now she tells the superhero, "You're making me lose." So I think it goes best way. She didn't even stomp her out, so it was always a little awkward.
So round 2, SmackDown selects Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, the Street Profits. Right, I'm very excited about the Street Profits being back on SmackDown, and SmackDown is a very energetic show. That's why they're perfect for it. And especially if SmackDown doesn't have the New Day like they used to, like the entire group, not just Kofi and Xavier, it's not the same anymore. So I feel like the Street Profits are gonna be that new Energizer Bunny that's gonna be right for SmackDown.
Definitely.
This next pick was another shocker pick to me, and it was Raw selecting the Intercontinental Champion, Gunther. I did not see this coming, but I knew for sure if Gunther goes there, Austin got to go there. So, with that being said, I'm actually happy that they did switch, and I've actually wanted to see Austin Theory go to SmackDown for some time now because I feel like that's just what that show needs. Like, that show needs a dickhead on there that's always just going be on some bullshit. And I feel like Raw already kind of has that with the Miz. Like that's the Miz's kind of gig and
he also
all that
TV show instigating.
Yeah.
What you gotta say?
So yeah, I feel like that's just a good pick for SmackDown as well. Like okay, we're gonna take Austin Theory. Yeah, that was a surprise pick, but at the same time, I like the way it's shaping up these rosters now. Right. So now we got SmackDown selecting Edge for their next pick, and then Raw selecting Matt Riddle. And I'm actually happy about this because we spoke about this off camera, and I actually agree with you, bro. I'm happy that Edge is going back to SmackDown. He does fit the SmackDown brand. Honestly, we're being honest. Edge just fit both brands though. Like he's perfect for Raw. Yeah. This nigga had a whole live sex show on Raw and was doing dastardly shit to John Cena. Like
daddy.
He was turning Raw up. And then he go to SmackDown and then he's putting on these great matches with Batista and The Undertaker. Like, and then having great backstage moments with Teddy. And
he's like, you can't do this.
And then he's at the same time, he's over here fucking around with Vicky Guerrero. Like, Edge has always just had it on lock. Anywhere he's gone, he's captivating. Like, and he just fits both rosters. But if we have to pick one for him to always be on, it's SmackDown. SmackDown. And I always see him synonymous with this title. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
Because he wanted that one the most.
Yeah.
Like, that's when he started to ascend because he came back from that neck injury I was telling you off camera. And that's when they weren't sure if they could really give it to him because they didn't know if he could hold it down with his health. And because he was doing shit like that with Matt Hardy. So they're like, you are mid-level. You're a mid-level. We can't give you the full shit yet. Can't give you the full shit yet. But once he did cash in that championship, the rest is history.
Up next, we got my favorite pick of the night, and that's Bobby Lashley to SmackDown. And why is this my favorite pick? Because he's the only believable person left to actually beat Roman Reigns. Out of everyone that SmackDown has drafted, honestly, nobody else is fit to take on the Tribal Chief right now. Like, it's just not it. There needs to be a lot of character building before that happens.
Absolutely.
And the way it's set up, it looks like Roman could possibly hold that bitch for maybe another 265.
Like ones. Shouldn't he go for Big Gold too? Put him on the chokehold.
Uh. Up next, Raw selects Drew McIntyre, and this tells us that they renegotiated his contract successfully, and we can now see Drew McIntyre back on live television. Speaking of someone that we haven't seen on TV for a while, AJ Styles gets drafted to SmackDown, and not only him, but the entire OC. But we highlighting AJ Styles, okay? Unfortunately, AJ Styles got his ankle broke quite some time ago. I can't really remember when, but it happened. I can see it clear as day in my head. That motherfucker going snap. By him getting drafted to SmackDown tells us that he's almost ready to compete again. What do you think about that, real quick?
I think that's great. He is ready to compete, but as far as I'm concerned, we saw him deliver a phenomenal forearm, and it looked like as good as ever. So I'm like, AJ's ready. I know, even though he's changed his moveset to accommodate his age, he doesn't or wouldn't put himself in jeopardy to come back half-assed because he knows he still likes to acquire the high flying ability. You know what I mean? So
Right.
AJ is if I'm he looking like 95, 100%, and I'm ready to see him in title contention. Any titles. Like seeing AJ with championships is just it just makes sense.
Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And AJ ain't never really just around, hey, I'm in the back. Even when he had almost under his wing, he had that nigga with championships. MVP doing all this. He ain't AJ be like, what had him in gold?
All right, so we're gonna move on to night 2. Raw selects the SmackDown Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. SmackDown selects Austin Theory. Raw keeps Seth freaking Rollins, and SmackDown keeps Charlotte Flair. And that's smart by both brands because we're about to get some, like I said earlier, some really good storylines out of that. We're gonna be able to see Seth go up against names like JD McDonough, Johnny Gargano, and best of all, Cody Rhodes.
What about Apollo Crews?
Stupid. And also with SmackDown keeping Charlotte Flair, we get to see her finally go against Bianca Belair. And for a long time, Bianca Belair has been saying that that's the one person that she wants to step on the most. So I can't wait to actually see that happen.
I definitely want to agree with you on that, bro. I feel as though there's a lot of dream matches that can transpire from the Raw draft picks. I want to see Matt Riddle taking on. I want to see him get beat up by Seth again, just for old time's sake. But this time, when Seth is maybe the world champ, so Riddle thinks he has a chance. At least he can be in title contention. You know what I mean? And actually elevate, and then be like, but it's great because we get to see Seth stomp him out on a grander stage, and it actually means something. Because before he just stomped him out and disrespected Matt and his pride and his kids and his failed marriage. It's kind of sad, but Anyway, we can see Drew McIntyre taking on Cody Rhodes. I'm hyped on that. They can relive the rivalry they had in Impact Wrestling. We were previously talking about Impact. Bronson Reed. Oh yeah, that's definitely tough right there. Bronson Reed versus Gunther. I can fuck with that. I want to see the Miz get beat up. I want to see him get kicked with a Claymore. I really need to see that. Or Kinshasa. We already saw that. Yeah. I want to see another one. A couple more of those.
Who would you have sent to where?
I would have sent Cody to SmackDown. I would have sent Seth to SmackDown because I still want them be able to be on the same brand. I just feel like they should have been on a different playground.
Yeah, I wanted to see Seth go to SmackDown. I thought that was for sure coming.
Yeah, because I was like, I get his Monday Night Raw, but I want to see what he could come up with SmackDown. His character could blossom so much more on SmackDown.
And he's the only one that actually beat Roman throughout this entire reign.
Entire Ray, he's the only one to beat Roman.
Out of nearly 1,000 days, Seth is the only one to get the best of Roman Reigns.
Sending AJ Styles to SmackDown was great, as you talked about earlier. I feel as though AJ that's his home. He came into his own on SmackDown. Even when he was on Raw, he still had main event type matches with Roman and Y2J at WrestleMania. But I just feel as though SmackDown
that's the house that he built.
Yeah, he's just like he embodies the energy of SmackDown, like an underdog, but it's not an underdog. It's proven, but people keep doubting it.
Yeah, like New Age Mysterio.
Mm-hmm. But the difference is AJ might even talk too much. He really might put you in your shit no matter what age he is or who you are. Because I know he would be whooping Dominic. He wouldn't give a fuck. But also, I'm hyped on Edge going to SmackDown, like you said previously. Street Profits is a great win as well.
I'm pretty much okay with all these draft picks. I'm okay with where everyone landed, except for Dominic Mysterio. I need a Dominic Mysterio to go to NXT. I don't need you guys to break up the Judgment Day. You ain't got to do all that. But send Dom over there to give his career some type of fighting chance. Because you guys hiding him behind Finn, Rhea, now that she's even got a world title, and she's pretty much walking this nigga down to the ring like a dog and whispering some shit in his ear and holding on to him with the belt and shit. Like, it's like, bro, this woman is dominating you. She is dominating Dominic. Okay, and that shit is like, no, bro. That Eddie was not being dominated by China. China was the arm candy. Okay, Dom is the arm candy, and that is not okay. You need to send his ass to NXT so that way he can learn how to wrestle and he can better shape his career, yo. Because right now, it ain't believable for him winning no type of matches without some help or without cheating in some type of fashion. So I feel like you guys did Dominic a disservice by not sending him back to NXT. The thing that separates Dominic and The Miz uses Maurice, but he'll still do some manly shit or still make it known that I'm the man running shit around here. This is my bitch. I made her do that to you. No, that's the difference. Dominic, Rhea's like, this is my bitch, my Dommy. Dom, okay? And I will stick him on you if I want to, but I don't need him to because I'm a monster. And I'm also protecting him from exposing himself because he's not as good as wrestler as me. So it's like, that's the difference. That's the entire difference. And I'm like, nah, bro. Like, say what you want about The Miz, but at least he's the man in his relationship. Anyway, who are you most hyped to see get drafted?
Whose game is it?
I walked right into that. We're a show. I did that for y'all.
LA Knight. Yeah, you know this man. He got drafted he ain't no free agent. He's a commodity that's inquired about and wanted where he's designated, not on SmackDown. I honestly thought he'd be drafted to Raw, bro. I don't know why, but
I thought he was gonna go to Raw too.
But I felt like that tells me the Fox Network, they like the pull, and if not, WWE execs and people are listening because we were at that live show. We heard the chants for him. We heard that pop, and I'm hearing it every time on the internet. How they just when I watch it on live, he just has this charisma and this aura about him that I feel as though
he's just that guy that you're not supposed to like, but you like.
Yeah.
So it's like that's why he's still there. And I feel like that's also why he gets cheered like that. And like you said, bro, they are listening to them cheers. And they was like, yeah, we can't let Raw get none of this.
Yeah. He's like, it's too much. It's like we seen they're like LA Knight won clean. Oh, does it mean they're gonna push him? Yeah, they're like Fox, like, oh yeah, ratings, they're watching him, put him on the TV.
I feel like he's perfect for literally the grown side of WWE. He's for the adults.
That's literally what he's for. You don't play that kid shit, bro.
Well, he's for literally 21 and up. That's what LA Knight is for.
That's why he's making fun of Xavier when playing video games. I know everyone 21 plus play video games and shit, but he low key trying to downplay it because he's like, damn, I'm a man, man. What the fuck you doing playing these games? That's why he was fucking with him. LA Knight just know how to get in people's skin because he don't give a fuck about saying some shit that you think is it's not PC to say. He was talking some shit to Bray Wyatt though. I will never forget. He's making fun of the voices in his head. You saw, brother. I know the voices. The voices.
I could see him being just as accomplished as Baron Corbin, but not as accomplished as Dolph Ziggler. I don't see two-time world champion out of LA Knight. But I do see a Money in the Bank winner, possibly.
I can see him being Money in the Bank.
I do see an Intercontinental Championship. Yeah, for sure.
I see him like mid-card title. I think it's time. It's perfect. He'd be the perfect person to take it off of Austin, and they could have a little rivalry, and that could help turn him face, and that would be a good way to capitalize on him and have him.
You don't want that kind of character going face, bro. You want LA Knight to stay heel.
I want him to stay
You
here
want because Austin Theory.
because I want to get burnt
Yeah,
out.
you want to turn Austin Theory kind of face. Well, you want to keep them both heel, honestly. But I feel
I
like
want
LA
him
Knight is
face.
the better heel.
Yeah,
He's obviously the better heel, so I feel like he should definitely go
bro.
over.
LA Knight know how to just he demean the nigga like just not even before he start talking. You
He just
know,
got a turkey head.
you
He
know
got a turkey
before
head.
he start talking, he look at you and you can just tell he's about to say the most off the wall disrespectful shit to you, but he gonna say it in a common way where it's like he gonna ask you a question, but you know the answer, and you're not gonna answer it because you're like, I'm gonna disrespect myself,
Right.
and that's the problem. He set it up. That's why he pissed off Xavier because he was just tired of him dissing him, but not making.
Yeah,
But
he
like
got that good old country disrespect for you.
he's like, bro, how you gonna have an LA and WrestleMania in LA without LA Knight? It just makes too much sense, and the shit that he's saying it just makes too much sense to go against it, but you're gonna go against it because there are some facts to back up why he wasn't in WrestleMania, but at the same time, you respect the fact that he's talking about being in WrestleMania because he wants to be in that spotlight. He ain't one of them other niggas that's taking L's and just sitting around like, oh, I took a loss, I need to get back on the winning streak. Nigga, he realized he's the winning streak. If he's carrying himself like he was a winner, he gonna win. That's the difference between LA Knight and a Baron Corbin and all these. He ain't never gonna be moping around. I can guarantee you that. That's why I fuck with LA Knight. He is headed on a swivel to win. So yeah, he lost to Kofi, but when he got a chance to beat Butch, he was like, it's light and it was clean. So I look forward to seeing what's next.
That was so
Yo,
cat, bro. That match was
that was for me. That was for me, nigga. You know I be telling him LA Knight. He had to see, bro. Peace out. I was like, I'll take that. What's the big deal? LA Knight. They asked him. They said, Pete, whose game is it? Yo, that's a good match though, bro.
I actually got quite a couple people that I was actually happy to see get drafted. Like we were just talking about, Austin Theory to SmackDown. I feel like that's just perfect for him, and he do look like a John Cena reject. So why not send his ass to SmackDown? Johnny Gargano to Raw. That means he's not in between NXT and Raw and doing weird shit. No, he's only exclusive to the Raw brand, and I'm excited to see him actually have some more legible matches, bro. I want to see him put on the same type of match he was putting on with Ciampa here on Raw with Seth Rollins or Cody Rhodes or all the other big stars that Raw has. Another name that I'm extremely excited to see. Honestly, this is the best draft pick out of the entire night. I feel like this is the sleeper draft pick as well, and that's Grayson Waller to SmackDown. I feel like he's really about to change the whole landscape of that brand. And on top of that, if they do it correctly, they can build him up to be an extremely great world champion. So yeah, I feel like this was the sleeper, and I'm excited to have him on SmackDown. And on top of that, SmackDown also got Cameron Grimes. Yeah, it's Cameron Grimes going to SmackDown. That's like just giving him his just due, bro, because he's really the workhorse of NXT, bro. Every time they call his number, he's right there. And on top of that, he's putting on some legendary matches. I'm not going to cap. He can actually wrestle. The last person on my list is JD McDonough going to Raw. I feel like he's really about to help turn up the Raw brand and kind of give it that spark again. Because if we being honest, Raw is a little bland right now. You know what I
They're
mean?
lacking that energy.
Exactly. So I feel like he'll bring a different energy to the roster. And on top of that, he can provide great matches like Chad Gable can.
JD McDonough's aura reminds me kind of what Finn Balor was supposed to bring to the main roster when he got called up. I don't think McDonough might necessarily be a world champion off the rip being on this roster, but I feel as though he's going to provide that new flair because Finn, when I remember watching that match he had with Seth, that was amazing. I was like,
Yeah.
this is
And
what's lacking in WWE.
at the same time, I feel like Finn got that. I feel like Finn got that position because of what he's done outside
Outside
of
of WWE,
WWE.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So JD McDonough is NXT
Oh,
homegrown.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I feel like he's also going to succeed on the Raw brand because he's homegrown. But yeah, he's not gonna jump immediately to the top. And I feel like he's like a technical version of Finn Balor. You know what I mean? Kind of does everything that Finn does, but just a little bit more hard nosed about it. So we mentioned free agents earlier. What do you think about these free agents? Omos, Ali, Dolph Ziggler, Von Wagner, Corbin, and Brock Lesnar. What do you think their purpose is?
I feel like only Brock and Omos are legible free agents. The rest of those people don't have active storylines or are necessarily legible enough to where we need to be on TV all the time.
Right.
And I feel like Omos and Brock, they do that because they want to make sure that they're a spectacle every time they're on screen. Versus the other two or the other few people who are just like, you're on TV way too fucking much. You don't do anything for us, and you're in the way kind of. So we're not gonna fire you. We're not gonna embarrass you or do nothing like that. But we're just gonna take you off TV. And when your number is called, you're either gonna go out there and crash for us, take a pin, or maybe it's time for you to actually have an active storyline. We got something for you. But other than that, there's no reason for you on TV, so you're a free agent.
Dolph is eventually going to land somewhere. I will say that because, like I said, he's a former NXT champion. That wasn't just, a couple years ago. That happened kind of recently.
That was like last year.
You know what I mean? So I feel like he's going to find himself a place. But I feel like as far as Ali and Baron Corbin, they're probably on their way out the door because they just keep getting written to be lame or take pins or be embarrassed. Every chance. And at this point we just don't need that in television right now. I could go months, years without ever seeing Baron Corbin again, honestly. I don't know exactly what the deal is with Von Wagner. I'm going to put him in the same category with Omos and Brock because he's a legit wrestler. He can wrestle for real. So there must be like some contract problems or something going on there because I don't understand why he doesn't have a spot. But him, like Dolph Ziggler, he will find a place as well. And if I had to guess, I could see Dolph probably going back to SmackDown and Von Wagner going to Raw. You know what I mean? And then Ali and Baron Corbin getting on up out of here. And then Brock Lesnar and Omos just pretty much showing up whenever to beat anyone up.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because I'm just like, Brock Lesnar and Omos are attractions in a sense. Like,
literally, they're literally attractions.
They're like spectacles.
And you can't have Omos keep losing.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What I mean? So they're like, yeah,
you got to give him some type of credit.
Yeah, you guys made him lose at WrestleMania, and you know he's gonna lose to Seth because Seth's only gonna have to build some momentum to get to this tournament.
Exactly.
So I'm just like, yeah, he's not. They fuck with you heavy, Omos. So they're gonna make you a free agent because they don't want put too much pressure on you.
Right.
Because you're gonna
they don't want to destroy your character too much.
Because they see a lot of potential. I feel like they see him as that last ditch effort world heavyweight champion as a big dominant man. Like we don't, but it could be legible because he's fought tough people and he didn't lose.
He don't go against nobody soft.
Yeah, and he don't just lose easy. Mm-hmm. So it's legible,
right?
And everybody knows, like you always say, shit gotta be overcome. So it's not like he got it out the way. He got overcame already. It's not like exactly. It's not like he was on this big dominant run and then he had the world title and then now he can never overcome that he lost that shit. So now he just dwindles off.
Nah, this is perfect, honestly, bro. This is the perfect setup for him. He about to lose to Seth because, like Roman, that's why Roman is in the position he's in. All the people that Roman has beat, he was losing to all of them before. You name them, he was losing to them before. Bray Wyatt, John Cena, all of them. He was losing to them. So that's kind of like what Omos got to do. He got to pay his dues. That's what it is. Cody Rhodes, he got to pay his dues. And that's going against Brock Lesnar. Even though he may beat Brock Lesnar, you still got to pay these dues. And just because you beat Brock Lesnar don't mean you always won. Because you didn't win that match unscathed. I guarantee
never
you
won
that
match.
Anytime that someone beat Brock Lesnar, it wasn't really a win because they got their ass beat in the process.
Every time it hurts every time he wrestles Brock.
Every time. The only reason why Roman made it out from the last match is because he had his cousins there. But if the Usos wasn't there, it was about to go like how any of their other matches go. And they was finna tear down the entire ringside.
Every time, barricade, ring post, steel chairs.
Announce tables, you name it. They was gonna fuck it up.
Roman be like, stay down, bitch.
No cap. Who do you think benefited the most from this draft?
To be fair with you, bro, I kind of want to say Raw because Raw is shaping up their roster to go for this new championship.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to have these superstars or, quote unquote wrestlers that can go after the championship legibly.
Yeah.
While a bunch of losers are going to be in the process because only one person can get the championship. So it has to be all legible losers. Like,
yeah, I feel like they did a really good job with drafting legible losers in a sense. You know what I mean?
Because if you think about it, Raw's roster previously, who really could be in a world that didn't have a world title scene? He didn't have one. Who ever talking about getting a world championship or doing anything? Anybody ever wanting to go for the Universal Championship would be on SmackDown most of the time because that's where Roman really resided. He never really was a Rock thing ever. So I always felt like that also too is a big factor in all of this. You know what I mean? Like SmackDown's drafting for people to spice it up because Roman's beat everybody. Raw literally scraping at the pot. Like we need to get the ratings dropping.
Talent.
Yeah, 3 hours and niggas telling us it's only 1 hour wrestling. We can't do that.
And I feel like the way that SmackDown drafted, they didn't really get anyone that was legible to beat Roman Reigns besides Bobby Lashley. Like everybody else, it looks like they need to be built more or they're just not ready. Like, I mean, who we going to put up against him? Damian Priest? We can't put the Street Profits up against him. We could try to put Solo up against him, but we know how that's going to go. We can try to put main event Jey Uso, but we already seen that and know what the outcome of that is going to be.
He gonna choke that nigga out and say you could have had it all.
We could. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's low key facts. And we just seen what happened to Jimmy on Monday Night Raw. Speaking of that, I don't know why they did that to Jimmy. Why did y'all put him in a match with Matt Riddle? You know Jimmy ain't have no type of moveset to be keeping up with Matt Riddle. Now, Matt made him look like he still could vibe a little bit. But I'm like, Jimmy, you're not fooling these eyes. I see that gut every time you're running across the ring. And I can tell how tired you are. And I know Matt is really slamming you on your shit and you are over it. So you can't fake this shit with me, Jimmy.
Yeah, so, fake the fuck.
I know for a fact. But yeah, bro, I got to agree with you. I definitely feel like Raw got the better of this draft. And hopefully, with that being said, Raw is going to be more entertaining.
I can only hope. Oh, man, I hope Seth does get this first championship reign because it just would make sense. But I don't know who else they give it to because what if Gunther really does get that shit, bro?
I mean, bro, they stacked that roster up with just so many good people, bro.
Yeah,
honestly,
because they're like, okay, Gunther,
they got Johnny on there.
You know what they did, right? You know, I feel like because when they did this debut on the on the Fox network, they kind of like sent people who are like, okay, we're just testing. Some people are like Roman was a dead giveaway. Like he's got star power, star potential. He could really do this shit. He'll be a face of this shit. But then, like, they had people where it's like Gunther. They had to switch his name. And I feel like they didn't think he'd be such a big success in doing all this shit. And then they're seeing him.
Imagine his name still being Walter and he's doing all this. It'd be so much cooler.
Bro, and then this why it's crazy because they seen how good he was and they're like, low key, we thought you were just going to be whatever. You ain't eating up on Fox. You were one of attraction. We need you on USA because it's just not cutting it. The mid card, Austin's not doing what you're doing, and SmackDown doesn't need that. Roman gets enough viewers like that. I could see them reasoning it out like, nah, bro, no.
Yeah. Y'all take the kid, and they're like, all right, we'll take the kid, but we also taking that belt.
Yeah,
we also taking that belt off the kid too. But bro, if not Seth, you got Shinsuke Nakamura to fall back on. Boom. And if you don't want to go with Seth or Shinsuke Nakamura, then you got Ricochet, and you got Braun Strowman, and you got Drew McIntyre, and you got Matt Riddle, and you got Gunther, like you just said, or Cody Rhodes. Like, they made sure that they got the star
Yeah,
power.
okay, look, see,
You know
like
what I
all
mean?
these guys that we just listed are in the 30s, so I think WWE need to start sending one of them into stardom. Seth already hit there, so if you don't go Seth, which is a smart and easy choice, make a new star. And I mean, Nakamura has never held a main roster World Heavyweight title, so I respect that one as well.
And you guys didn't bring him back for no reason. Like, come
Yeah,
on now.
and if it's not one of them, I hope
I
that
really don't like what they do with Japanese talent sometimes. Like,
they just played them out. I don't know how Oscar won the first ever TLC Triple Threat Women's match, and we don't talk about that. We tell everyone now it was Bianca Belair and Bailey having a lot of matches. That's the first women's ladder match for a women's championship. Like, no, I seen Oscar win it,
right.
and then I just feel like Oscar, why is she 0-5 WrestleMania?
That didn't need to happen. That just didn't need to happen, man. What they do with Japanese talent is sometimes just like
So I'm becoming.
head scratching. Like, why would you do that? But man, one thing I do want to say about this draft is SmackDown and Raw really improved their women's divisions. Not only that, their women's tag divisions. Like, I'm really impressed with some of the picks that they got. Raw drafted the NXT Women's Champion, Indy Hartwell, and the former NXT Women's Tag Champions. And SmackDown drafted the current NXT Tag Team Champions, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Now, that's how you shake it up. And I'm excited to see what they do here on the main rosters. And we got to stop calling it that, man. Honestly, they all the main rosters.
No, it's not.
NXT is the number one show.
No, it's
as long
not,
as
bro.
it's associated with the WWE.
Bro, it's not the main
At the end of the
roster.
day,
You're drugs.
at the end of the day, you come from any other wrestling promotion. This is varsity. You're on JV. All right.
That's cap. That's
Nah,
not
it is what it
true.
is, bro. WWE get billions of viewers. WrestleMania gets seen more than the Super Bowl.
It's not, but
AEW is about to fill up for the first time a stadium of how many people? 60,000? Was you excited about not too long ago? Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
that's not
Compared
bad.
to 80,000, y'all on JV as far as WWE is concerned. It is what it is. You know what I mean? That's why they all striving to get here. Hopefully somebody see us. MJF know that's the next spot. He know AEW ain't the last spot.
If he never goes to WWE,
He will go to
he just
WWE.
ain't saying that shit to talk shit.
Nah, bro. He over there, bro. Why do you think that nigga be dick riding on social media? He's a dickhead to everyone in the AEW locker room, but he's nice as fuck to anybody with WWE at the beginning or end of their fucking at name. Every time, always commenting on they shit. Good shit, champ. Oh, Roman Reigns, I love the tribal chief. He's doing a magnificent job over there. MJF don't talk nice about nobody good on the AEW roster.
Strategist, master strategist.
Right, yeah, so he can get a job over there, bro. He like, yeah, remember when I said that nice shit to you on Twitter or Instagrams? You know, leave a good word for Mr. McMahon for me. You know what I mean? I'm a champion over here on my brand. I'm doing it good over here, so you know, maybe I could go. I know I'm better than Austin Theory, so
no cap.
We can make it work.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that, boy.
Just prove my point.
Austin Theory drunk as fuck. He couldn't hold a candle to MJF, boy. Oh, MJF out wrestle that nigga. MJF, you don't even really see that nigga do drop kicks, boy. I bet you he can do a better drop kick than that bullshit.
They honestly doing Austin Theory a disservice by not sending his ass back to NXT as well, because I feel like him along with Dominic, that's how you really build up wrestlers that ain't got no seasoning. Send them back to NXT, because what the hell do you got it for? Yeah, NXT is a main roster, but at the same time, it is a developmental brand. That's why you have the NXT performance centers and shit like that. So dip their ass over there in that developmental brand, and then let's see what's up with them 2-3 years from now. If they ready to come back to the main roster, then bring them on back. If you can't make it in NXT, then you can't make it nowhere.
I want to see Austin Day go back there more than I want to see Dominic go back. This is going crazy.
Yeah, bro. So what did you think about this overall 2023 draft?
This draft was very lackluster. I don't know what they were thinking. Why would you not draft around your staples, your champions, versus there's no formula to this draft. I missed the time of like make it make sense. Okay, this person got drafted to Raw already, or somehow the first picks could have been this, and then it could be like, okay, this person this and this person that, and they're like they just wear a jersey or something like that, and whoever gets the pinfall, that's the one who gets that's the brand who gets it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or someone who's synonymous to saying, I'm doing this for the Smackdown brand, put a staple out there or something. It was just weird how they were making this draft order, and then they were just having these random guests come and just list off stuff. I'm like, they didn't even tell us how they come up with this draft order. Like, how is this just selecting the selecting shit? What was the whole story behind it?
Yeah, I feel like it overall worked out, but it did have a few head scratchers, and especially as far as the world titles go and the tag team world titles go, it's like
Hmm.
what's going on? What are we doing here? Like,
Hmm.
are you about to make Bianca Belair and Rhea trade titles? Are you about to make Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens split them belts up? How are we gonna play this? Are you guys gonna be making new belts? Are you guys gonna finally make new belts for the women? What we on?
I wish they would. I wish, but I know they're not because they always tell, or we would hear about development for a new women's championship of some magnitude. It doesn't have to be a main event. Yeah, they definitely need to revamp the whole women's division by introducing those mid card championships you've been talking about for months now. I feel like women's intercontinental or United States or it could be a TV championship of some sort. It's just anything that can just involve the women.
Yeah, you guys wanted a USA champion. Boom. Make
They
a women's United States champion like AEW has a TBS champion.
literally like do it like that and have that title defended every week. Because I just feel like there's a lot of women's talent, but
Mhm.
not everyone's a star, bro. And
And
that's
it would also be perfect because they just sent the United States championship over there to SmackDown. So, yeah, so you don't have that title on the same brand type of gig anymore. And that's going to be our overall draft review. We appreciate everybody out there tapping in with us. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts on what you guys thought about this year's draft. It's your boy, the franchise kid, franchise Jerry, and I got my dog with me.
think I need to feed you water.
Make sure you guys also like, comment, and subscribe, man.
Share that shit with the world, y'all.
And turn on them post notifications so you know every time we drop a track. And go tap in with our store at pcfshop.myshopify.com, man. Peace.